This is caught. Two, one, two, three,
You is a lie. You is like a from these sides.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Lace 'em Up Show. I'm your host, as always, Armand Javed. And in today's video, we're going to be covering the second round of the NBA playoffs. And let's start with my predictions for the first round. In the first round, I went 5-3. The three series that I got wrong was that I picked the Lakers in 6 against the Suns. I picked Portland in 7 against the Denver Nuggets. And I picked the Knicks, I think, in 6 or 7 against the Hawks. But man, let me just say, Trae Young came out to play. He was the best player in that series. Julius Randle was MIA, but D Rose put in the work. He was doing all he could, but I'm getting some respect from this Atlanta Hawks team. Trae Young definitely is one of the top players, top point guards in the Eastern Conference. With the Lakers and Suns series, that was a fun series to watch too. Honestly, I was just thinking LeBron would not let himself and his team lose in the first round, but he can't carry the load like he used to. So, you could definitely see that they needed Anthony Davis to be healthy in that series, and he wasn't there. So it definitely showed. Devin Booker's coming out party. This Suns team definitely should be one to reckon with in the Western Conference. And what a fun series we saw with the Mavs Clippers. Luka Doncic giving literally all he can for the Mavericks, but they need to get that man some help. We saw Kawhi Leonard just go absolutely Terminator mode. And you know what? Maybe my finals prediction won't be wrong after all. I had Brooklyn versus LA. Sure, it was the other LA team, but I could definitely see the Clippers making it to the finals now with Kawhi probably going to have to carry them as he did in round 1. So let's take a look at these second round matchups, starting with the Denver Nuggets taking on the Phoenix Suns. This is going to be a nice series. We got, honestly, he's the MVP, Jokic. I think that's pretty much clear now. And if he carries them in this series too, man, if they had Jamal Murray, they'd honestly be my pick to go to the finals at this point. MPJ definitely stepped up big against the Portland Trail Blazers, and we're going to need to see a lot more out of him against Phoenix Suns. But I'm going to have to say I'm going Suns in 7 here. I'm going to take Devin Booker being the best player in this series. Jokic, yeah, sure, honestly, he's probably going to have a huge impact for the Denver Nuggets, but the Suns still have DeAndre Ayton and CP3. If his shoulder isn't hurting him too much, I think I'm going to have to roll with the Suns after they just took down the defending champs. In the next series, we got the Utah Jazz taking on the LA Clippers. The Utah Jazz, who they feel like they've been being disrespected, overlooked this entire year. They took care of business real fast against the Memphis Grizzlies. After dropping game 1, they came out, won 4 games in a row. So they're looking to prove something against the Kawhi Leonard-led Clippers team. This is going to be a real fun series to watch. These two defensive juggernauts going on against each other. I think we're going to see a lot of Paul George versus Donovan Mitchell. My question for the Jazz is, who's going to be guarding Kawhi Leonard here? We know that the Jazz have one of the best defensive players in Rudy Gobert. They'll probably be clogging up the paint. But the Clippers do like getting a lot of their perimeter players open. So I do like the Jazz's depth. I do like the Clippers' star power as well. This is really tough, but I'm going to have to say Clippers in 6. I'm going to say Clippers in 6. Kawhi Leonard is going to do what he did last series and just carry the load and propel his team on to the Western Conference Finals against the Phoenix Suns. And that's going to do it for the Western Conference. Now we'll take a look at the Eastern Conference, which already started. I'm going to keep my predictions as they were before the second round started. I don't know why the NBA is doing it where they started the second round while the first round was still going on. But after Atlanta took a game 1 in which they looked like they just came out ready to beat the brakes off the Sixers, leading by 25 or whatever it was. They started letting up and letting the foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and you cannot do that against the Sixers, not against Joel Embiid, who honestly, He played a lot better than I thought he would after coming in and playing through a slight meniscus tear. I'm a little scared in this series with Joel Embiid. Hopefully, nothing bad, nothing serious happens to his knee. But if he's able to play, hey, the Sixers are going to need all of Joel Embiid to get past the Atlanta Hawks, because I just don't believe in Ben Simmons being the best player on that team and taking them to the Eastern Conference Finals. So Joel Embiid is the key X factor in this series. I could definitely see the Hawks winning this series if Joel isn't able to stay on the court. But if he is, I'm going to go ahead and roll with the Sixers in 7. Originally, I picked them in 6, but I'm going to say Sixers in 7 now. And now we look at the best series probably in the entire second round. Milwaukee Bucks versus Brooklyn Nets. I had the Brooklyn Nets going to the finals, so you know I got to stay ahead and roll with them. But Giannis, this is a huge series for him. I think this has to be one of those series where he just has to show that he's the best player in the Eastern Conference and just do everything he can to take him to the conference finals. I think the Nets team is absolutely loaded, regardless of the James Harden injury that's going to keep him out. They have no excuses. None of these teams have any excuses. So it's going to be really disappointing for each fan base, for whoever loses this series, I'd say. But I'm going to go ahead and say Nets in 7. This is probably going to be the best series. One of the best defensive teams in the Milwaukee Bucks. One of the best offensive teams in the Brooklyn Nets. This is going to be really fun to see how it unfolds. But I just got to roll with KD and Kyrie. I don't know, man. Like, even without James Harden, if he's being out, I think the Nets have so much star power. Like, it would be so disappointing to see him go anything less than a finals here. And if you're Giannis in the Bucks and you lose in the second round, failing to make it to the finals for I don't know how many years in a row with Giannis in his prime, you guys have some serious questions to answer, I should say. Especially with the fact that James Harden's going to be out for some time. Oh my God. Like, I know we saw in the regular season the Bucks were giving it to him in the last couple games, but I'm going to roll with the Nets here. So in the Eastern Conference Finals, it'll probably be Philly versus Brooklyn. And man, I can't wait to see how these playoffs unfold. This has probably been one of the most exciting NBA playoffs just in a long while, because there is no clear favorites really. Like, it's wide open. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comments about who you think is winning these series. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, tune in for some more videos coming up down the line. But yeah, we'll be ready for the conference finals in a couple weeks, whenever that is. Maybe do a little NBA awards video real soon. But until then, Manny signing out. We'll see you later.